Hey guys, Sebastian here with Walker's Vintage. Welcome to our gallery. Today we're shooting here in our acoustic room. We'll be doing a comparison between two Martin D-18 models. This is the 1937 Authentic Series VTS, and this is the D-18 Standard Series. These two guitars on a surface level, they might be very similar. However, once you dig in a little bit deeper into the details, you notice how they're two completely different instruments. So starting off with the 1937 Authentic Series. This guitar is basically made to replicate those made in the golden era of Martin, or the pre-war era, the guitars of the 1930s. In specific, this model is based off a 1937 D-18 Dreadnought, which has a few specific things that have to do with the materials used, the components, the building techniques that make it quite a different instrument compared to what Martin builds today. Those differences really make this guitar a very special instrument. You know, as far as like the skill that it takes to make it, again, the type of components that go into it, and you know, the things that makes it special, really bump up the price quite a bit. This guitar is actually more than double the price of the D-18 Standard. But with that, again, come very specific things that a lot of you players might appreciate. So let's talk about the similarities first. Both guitars have a spruce top and a mahogany back and sides. They also have an ebony fretboard as well as the classic Martin slanted headstock with the open back tuners and the X bracing inside. That's where the similarities really end. Looking at the authentic 1937 model, this guitar, again, it has all those appointments that, you know, made those guitars from the 1930s so special. Let's start off by talking about the finish. This is a nitrocellulose finish, and it's a very thin lacquer, you know, as opposed to the glossy nitro that this one has. This one is definitely gonna wear off much quicker, and you can tell that it's a thinner finish, that it's meant to, you know, age quicker. The other thing that makes this so unique is the neck profile. This is a huge neck profile. It's almost like a baseball bat. I wouldn't even dare to, you know, describe the shape. You know, it's sort of like a huge V, really. And the reason why they designed the neck like this is because this guitar does not have a truss rod. So you need all that extra wood to be able to hold the tension of the strings. One of the things that makes this guitar so special is the fact that it's built using hide glue. Hide glue is a very high quality material that has been the preferred glue used by luthiers throughout centuries. I'm talking about classical instruments such as violin, cellos, Stradivarius, for example, and well, some of these guitars as well. The way it differs from modern glue is that it doesn't have any of the plasticizers, and it comes from a different animal source. That type of glue, the way it crystallizes, it forms an union that is very difficult to separate, if at all, and it requires a very skilled worker to be able to manipulate it. Basically, hide glue dries up really fast, so when you're building these guitars, you have a very short time frame to be able to put it all together with the glue before it completely solidifies. And when it does solidifies, it creates a crystal-like structure that just really helps the whole instrument resonate, and it gives it qualities that basically protect it against changes in temperature and humidity. That's why, as a material, it really, you know, makes the whole guitar a whole different monster, because it really, you know, elevates the cost of production, obviously, but then it gives it that extra layer of protection and then resonance, you know, especially on acoustic instruments. Other thing that makes this guitar really cool is the way the body it's designed. As you can tell, well, it's a Dreadnought, but the cutout is specific to 1937. As you can see right here, it's kind of flattens out in the shoulder as it meets the neck, and then in this one, for example, as you can tell, it's a bit more rounded. The other thing is the classic barrel or the heel of the neck, you know, which is specific to the guitars from that year. There's a few other, you know, details here and there, such as the bracing inside and the way is you know, sliced. It's just like they did in 1937 as compared to more modern Martins. But overall, basically, this instrument is just faithfully replicating those made in the golden era for Martin. And with such techniques and materials, it becomes a much more premium instrument. The way this guitar sounds compared to the Standard, it's much more woody, I would say. It has more mids. It's a bit louder as well. And it behaves a lot closer to an older guitar for sure. One thing that I forgot to mention is that the VTS process, what it does is that it ages the wood so that it basically resembles, again, more of that of a guitar that has been around for much longer. So, you know, wood ages, and with that age comes a difference in sound. That's why older guitars tend to sound different than newer ones. So what they do through that process is a technology that, again, just ages the top of the guitar and the bracing, and it just makes the guitar, you know, sound differently. Now, moving on to the D-18 Standard, this guitar represents basically the standard of what Martin considers a D-18 should be like in 2023. And with that again comes several different things that make it different from the 1937 model. This guitar, as you can tell, has this vintage lacquer, which just makes it look a little bit yellower. You know, it's more glossy. Definitely it's not gonna break in as fast as the 1937 model. The top is a Sitka spruce top, which is very high quality still, but not as high quality as the Aeron that cut. Then you have a neck profile that is a lot more modern. Once again, it's quite thin. You have a 12 strut, so it is adjustable. And then, you know, the sound of the guitar, I would say that it's a bit, again, more modern. It's a bit more scooped. You have more brightness. It doesn't have that big low end. You know, a lot of people describe these dreadnought guitars as cannons. I wouldn't say this has that cannon factor as, you know, present in the sound, but yet it sounds really good. I would say that both instruments are definitely outstanding guitars. They feel really, really good. They sound great, but they have different personalities. I feel like I will be happy with either or. For me personally, the standard D-18 is such a great instrument. I would personally own one of these. However, I know that a lot of you are fans of the history of Martin. I want to have an instrument that, you know, compares to those built in the golden era. And for that reason, Martin has offered this model, which is a fantastic guitar. So it doesn't matter which one you go with. Basically, you're gonna get an incredible instrument either way. So let's go ahead and do some playing so you guys can hear the differences between both guitars. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to pick up any of the guitars used here, the links will be down below in the description. Definitely check out our website, walgracevintage.com, where you can see some of the amazing things that we have in store for you. We have vintage cars, vintage guitars, watches, and coffee. So definitely you don't want to miss that out. If you guys want to support the channel, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And then if you want more content like this, you can also follow us on Instagram at @WaltGraceVintage. My name is Sebastian. Till next time.